She was only 9 years old when Lexi Smith was raped and recorded for the first time. It was a year later, at 10 years old, that she was bought for $100. And how did they find her? Where did the buyer come from? That video, pornography. The definition of sex trafficking by the TVPA states that it's defined as a situation in which a commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act has not attained 18 years of age. And so in 2010, Dr. Anna Bridges from the University of Arkansas and her team, they did a study on the 50 top viewed pornography scenes. And 90% of them included some form of sexual, physical, or emotional violence and abuse against women. 90%, 9-0. Further, it would take your average 11-year-old about 15 seconds to find some form of pornography that was abusive, violent, or basically predicated on the violence of women after typing pornography just into Google. If we focus on the word coercion, it means that a commercial sex act can be a sex trafficking even if no one's physically assaulted, even if no one's tricked or defrauded. The moment that the victim is coerced or intimidated into a commercial sex act against his or her will, sex trafficking has occurred. And so forgive me for not buying into the lie that pornography does not fuel sex trafficking. Further, that pornography in and of itself is not sex trafficking. I'm going to go off script here for a minute, if that's all right with you. A lot of you in this room who came here because you care about this act are struggling with putting women in this act. Men and women and children alike. So the thesis here for my speech is that men and women's sexual exploitation exists because of our demand and appetite for pleasure apart from anything other apart from God. Right? That this exists because we desire something else other than the pleasure in which God offers us. And I'll explain. So in Jeremiah 2:13, the Lord talks to his people and he says, "Be shocked and be utterly desolate, for my people have committed two evils. One, they've forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and they've hewed out cisterns for themselves, broken cisterns that can hold no water." So a cistern, it can be a bowl that you use to drink, or it could be these massive ditches they would dig out just to hold water. And so keep in mind, at this moment in history, the Israelites are in the desert, right? So water's key to survival. Absolutely key to survival. And so in this moment, I believe the Lord had meshed these two together. It's the same coin with two different sides, right? They've forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. You're not enough. No thanks. I'll have anything else, please. Flip the coin over. I'll have anything else, please. They've hewed out cisterns for themselves, broken cisterns that will hold no water. They are going to die. There is absolutely no life found apart from Him. None. Absolutely none. And it's going to lead to their death. So they stand before the presence of Yahweh God and say, "You're not enough for me." See, the sex cistern is clearly broken. The marriage cistern, if you're holding out for marriage, to find life there, to find your purpose there, it's broken. The beauty and bronze cistern is broken. I felt that as I have to follow up with you. Goodness gracious, he's a truck. It's broken. No life found there. Praise the Lord. I was going to make a joke that I actually tried out for OUR, but there's a bicep size requirement. And I didn't meet it, so... But I didn't make that joke, so...
Thanks for not.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Sorry, yeah. He's a married man. Back off. So, let's get back on track. Right? Sorry, I derailed it. So the state of Israel in this moment is that they've got the fountain of living water saying, I want to give myself to you in full. And they say, no thanks, I'll have anything else, please. And we do this in our own lives. I believe this is the evil in which causes pornography. If pornography fuels sex trafficking, what fuels our pornography? And it's this happening in the hearts of men and women all over. And so we want to take that thesis, we want to take that precedent, we want to take it to Genesis 3, right? So the fall of man, in which all of us gather here because of that moment in history. If it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't know any of you people, and I wouldn't have been invited to speak. I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for that moment in history. So in that moment in history, Eve looks at the fruit and it's delicious. It's delicious. It's delightful to the eyes, and it's a desire to make one wise. In this world-infecting moment in which has impacted all of us generations from that start. What's happening in the heart of Eve as she whispers in her heart as she eats is, I will not be denied what I want apart from you. I will not be denied what I want apart from you. And it is this act, it is this moment, it is this heart behind the action of just chewing this fruit that causes this massive rift, that brings us all in the same judgment, under the same judgment, and the same need for a Savior. The same need for Messiah. It's this moment. I will not be denied. So in 2 Timothy 3, it says that in the last days, people will be lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. We see that play out in Romans 3:23 and 1:23. So 3:23 says, right, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. But what does that mean? Romans 1:23 is a really great descriptor of that. It says that people have exchanged the glory of God. Exchanged the glory of God for images of mortal man and creeping things and bugs and weird stuff, right? But we can just stop at the images of mortal man because we all feel that in this room. So the falling short, the not making the level, is not getting to the point in which God can say you are pure and right in my eyes, is based on the predicate that I've exchanged it. No thank you. This is the everyday evil that we face here, right now. As you leave here, when you wake up in the morning, this will be the battle in front of your face. When you, if you have accepted Christ in your heart, it was a revelation that I can't do it on my own. I want the wrong things. That's the promise, right? He steps in and gives us a new spirit so we would be able to see Him, to know Him. And yet we buy into this social fabric lie that all you have to offer is whatever is on the outside. Right? And so you men, I went to Liberty, you walk around on campus and you rate and rule women based off what they have physically to offer you. Right? Under the predicate that like physicality is a good thing to pay attention to. Right? Objectifying the women, but what they can just offer you maybe one day if you were happen to marry them. And for you women, it breaks my heart when you walk into a room and it's not just good enough to be fair, you have to be the fairest of them all, reducing yourself to just the image that you can put out. Like we are more than that. We are image bearers of the almighty, immortal God. And He sent His Son to die on the cross for you. Not so that you can just prance around and rate women based off of what they can offer. To reduce a man based off of whether he has great facial hair or not. That actually wasn't a joke, but it worked out. Thank you for those who laughed. You see, the battle begins by getting our own appetites under control. By desiring God over sexual pleasure. This will never end. If we as the church, we as the people of God, you as daughters and sons of the King, don't understand your own worth, and don't understand the worth of people who are sitting beside you, you're awesome. Not anything that you've done yourself, but what Christ had come to do on the cross for you. You can ask my wife about that. It's true. She's here. Anything good in us is only found through the good grace and love and mercy of the Father. You cannot be passionate about human sex or sex trafficking without being passionate or at the very least attentive to your own sexual integrity. It is impossible. We must be men and women who not only minister to victims on the street of one of Thailand's red light districts or kicking down doors to rescue children, but we also must be Christians, men and women who also avoid the temptation to objectify the opposite sex when you go to coffee tomorrow morning, when you go work out in LaHaye. You cannot come here passionately bold without being at least attentive to your own walk. At best, it's hypocrisy. So, we've got a really, really practical next step for you. If this is the fight in which you want to engage in, or maybe you just desperately want freedom from whether that's watching pornography or whether that's just the simple need for sexual integrity in your life to pursue these things further, we have a tangible next step for you. So I work for a ministry called Proven Men. Tonight, we are launching, this is so rad, for the first time ever, a Proven Women curriculum. So we have a discipleship guide for men and women now to be able to go through, invest in their relationship with God, find freedom, not only in Him, but also in good community. So we've got 16 leaders of each gender, I believe, to be able to lead you guys in this walk. And so what's crazy is, as people are walking out of here, it's not you guys, sorry. As people are leaving throughout the event, probably awkward, but whatever, it'll be all right. They're like, oh, sorry. What's crazy is we prayed, right? Give us the people. Give us the men and women who want to hear. And as people are walking out, it's almost like He's rooting people aren't ready to hear this message. But it starts with you. It starts with us. It's a shame. It's an absolute shame that 64% of men, Christian men, watch pornography at least once a month. That's an absolute sham. How are we supposed to be the leaders in this? If we can't even lead our own selves, if we can't even submit to Christ so that He can lead us. This battle begins in a daily, committed, intimate walk with Jesus Christ. We have the practical next step for you to step into that. Step into groups who are doing that. You women as well. You've been forgotten as you've struggled in silence. As shame's piled on because this is just a man's struggle. No more. No more. We know and we hear you and we're here to help. So if that's you men, if that's you women who want to strive for greater sexual integrity, to take this back, right? I don't want a job in 5 years. Let's put Operation Underground Railroad out of a job. Let's put Annie out of a job. Because the church has stepped up and said no more. In our own lives first. That's the battle. It's our own appetites and it's our own hearts. And so come. I invite you, come and taste and see that the Lord is good and He's better than anything else this world has to offer. Anything else. Thank you. Hey guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the Proven Men YouTube channel. If you would like to see more encouraging Proven Men content, subscribe to our channel and you'll be sure not to miss a thing. And if you feel as Proven Men's impacted you and you'd like to partner with us to continue to reach others, please consider clicking the link in the description below to give today. Thank you so much again for watching and don't forget to subscribe.